And now we will welcome 13-year MLB veteran current analyst David Dejesus to the show. David, it's a pleasure having you here. You're a guy that Jack and I both watched a ton growing up, our first player guest. So we can't thank you enough for letting us pick your brain for a little bit here.
No doubt. This will be fun. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, and so, here on Ducks on the Pond, ZDA Network's official MLB podcast, we like to ask the hard-hitting questions. So we're gonna open up with a couple of very pressing questions for you right off the bat.
Cool.
First off, so you spent a couple of years in Chicago, 2012, 2013. I'm from the Chicagoland, so what was your favorite hot dog in Chicago? Your time as
Wow, I am not a hot dog guy.
Really?
Not a hot dog at all. No, but I did have a good one at Chicago Cut.
Chicago Cut?
You wouldn't think to have a hot dog at a steakhouse, but they got a real good hot dog there.
Did you ever go to like Wiener Circle or like Clark Street Dogs or anything?
Nah. Never. I went to what's the famous burger and hot dog place? I can't remember.
Portillo's,
yes,
of course.
Portillo's.
Yeah.
But I went there, but I had the burger.
What about
I'm a burger guy, way far more than a hot dog guy.
Okay.
Oh, burgers are superior. Okay. I love that burger at Portillo's. Like I had a hot dog.
Yeah.
People are like, you gotta have it. Like I just moved to Chicago last year, but I'm like, as soon as I had the burger, I'm like, why would I go back to the dog? Like there's no
why. Exactly.
That's
too much bun.
Answer,
too much. It's too much meat to bun ratio. I want that thick burger.
Yes, sir.
Did you ever try the hot dog at Wrigley Field or any of the food at Wrigley? I'm just curious.
Yes, actually, me and my son went to the baseball game, and he threw out the first pitch, and that was my first time in the stands watching a game.
Oh wow!
So I did the whole experience: get the beer, the hot dog, and it's a decent it's a decent hot dog.
The Wrigley faithful is going to be up in arms, man.
Exactly.
You're just trying to be nice right now. We all know a ballpark dog is only good because there's baseball on and everything. It's not that good. It's like a soggy bun. It's very
exactly. Like I went to Dodgers. I live in Los Angeles now, so I went to Dodgers to watch the Dodgers game, and that was just like in like a aluminum foil wrapped up, and it was soggy. It was terrible. That was a bad hot dog there.
All right, David, I already know I like you. I grew up a Giants fan, so I can't stand the Dodgers. So that was amazing. That was music to my ears.
Nice.
What about New York versus Chicago pizza before we move on from food? Because I know you were born in Brooklyn, right?
Yes. Grew up in New Jersey, but there's nothing better than a slice of New York pizza. Way better than Chicago.
All right, we're gonna have to end this now. Like, it's been great talking to you.
I'm a thin. I like thin crust pizza.
Okay.
So the deep dish. Yes, if I want to get one slice to have a full meal, that's pretty much okay. That's cool. But who can just get one slice of deep dish? And I'm gonna count my calories a little bit and be like, is that worth it? All right.
That's true. You were quick in the outfield, man. If you're eating that deep dish in Chicago, this food probably wouldn't have been there. So I don't
Exactly. I look decent in the uniform. Can't be that guy.
There you go.
Hey, so like I was telling you before we started recording, I went to University of Missouri, Mizzou, just a couple hours east on I-70 of KC. You spent a lot of years there. What's your favorite Kansas City barbecue place then? That's a big question that I think people are wanting to know.
Yeah.
That's, like we had barbecue come to the clubhouse all the time, and I liked it all. Anything that I'm a big barbecue guy, give me any taste, I'm cool. But, there's the big time ones. I don't remember the names, to be totally honest with you.
Jack Stack, Casey Joe's.
Yes, we had all those at the clubhouse. So I don't really know which one. Just give me yes. I am in. Whatever it is, I'm in.
If it's KC barbecue, you're down for it.
Exactly. I'm in.
All right.
I'm all for it.
David, onto the baseball stuff. This is making me a little hungry. So, as I mentioned, from the suburbs of Chicago, big Cub fan. You were kind of a fan favorite in your time in Chicago. I'm just curious. I mean, you played for 6 teams, longtime Royal. Just how did your time on the north side compare to to other franchises?
It was awesome. First off, I got to say thank you to KC because, that's a team that brought me in, gave me my first opportunity to be a big leaguer. And to be honest, that's one of the most beautiful stadiums. If you ever get to go to a stadium, go to KC. Look at that, what they've done there, top-notch stuff over there.
I love Kauffman every time I've been there. It's amazing.
It's awesome. But there's nothing like playing at Wrigley. There really isn't, man. It's just like the atmosphere, everything. I lived – there's a Dairy Queen off of Southport, right?
Dude, yes.
Walking distance.
I lived on Waveland and Kenmore last year, so I've been to that Dairy Queen.
So you know that, right?
Yeah.
You know that Dairy Queen. I live next door to it, so I would walk every morning to the ballpark.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, just right down Grace.
Grace. 100%.
That's an excellent thought.
Good call.
Hey.
Good call.
Yeah, that's the beautiful thing about Wrigley. I mean, it's right downtown.
Exactly.
As far as playing on the field, it was one of the things that made Wrigley unique, just playing in front of the bleacher bums, all the fans in the bleachers. I know they had signs with your name on it all the time and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. They were in. They were all in on the game. But it's funny. My first story of there's a night game at Wrigley. It was my first game. I'm playing right field at that point.
Yeah.
And I'm getting ready for a pitch, and I'm hearing a countdown. It's like 10, 9, 8. And I'm like, what's going on back there? The pitch goes by, turn around and look. It's a chug contest between two people. And I'm like, this is so Wrigley right now that it's unbelievable that I'm playing here.
That's awesome.
It was great. It was just the best atmosphere. I love day games because then I could be with my family later on, go to dinner and be on a regular schedule. So that helped me out. But, I thank Theo for bringing me over. When Theo came over, he was the first guy. I was the first guy he signed to the Cubs.
No way.
I forgot.
Yeah, and I knew my role. My role was to be a veteran player. And one of the guys I had to teach up was Rizzo. Trying to teach him how to be a pro.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so it's cool, man. It's great to just see how much he does on and off the field. I'm most impressed by what he does off the field, but he's a stud on the field as well.
Did you kind of –
the game, yeah.
Did you kind of see his, I know everyone says he's the captain of the Cubs, put the C on his chest. Did you see that mentality when he was younger and you were kind of grooming him?
Yes and no. He was he wasn't going to speak up, but you just knew the talent was there. And when you're the most talented player on the team, I think that role comes to you. I think that you're just going to have to be that guy. And then he just blew up.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, he is the captain of the Cubs, even though he's not the guy that's gonna yap and talk. He's gonna be like, yes, I am doing this because I'm gonna show you how to be a leader.
The presence in the clubhouse for sure. David, you mentioned, Theo brought you over to be a veteran presence, as you said,
sure.
But be honest, at first, was it a little nerve-wracking tracking balls into the ivy, just knowing there's a brick wall behind that? Did that take a while to get used to?
Definitely. I remember catching one in there, but then coming out with thorn pricks all in my arm, just bleeding. But yeah, you just kind of have to just always know how many steps you have to the wall. And that's the pregame work. Pregame is understanding how many steps you have to the wall. And that's what I learned in college. We learned to whatever new field we got to, we'd as an outfielder, we test the bounces off different parts of the outfield fence and the warning track, how many steps, if you're running full speed, to stop before that fence comes. But it's funny, if you YouTube myself, one of my injuries when I was with the Cubs is I ran right into the wall against the Mets and blew my shoulder out.
Oh, man.
I definitely did not do that game.
Yeah. Everyone ran into it, though. Nothing to be ashamed of there. It's unavoidable.
Exactly. I tried to make a play for Edwin Jackson, and it didn't end up working out well.
It's the thought that counts, right? I guess.
Exactly. Respect. Everyone came out there, so – it's the love of the brothers. It's a brotherhood when you're out there. And we were getting dominated all the time in 2012 and 2013. Those were tough years. So,
I mean,
but we together.
yeah, I mean, speaking of some tough years, like I feel like your entire time you were on the Royals too. I mean, you guys never finished
Yeah.
better
Yeah.
than four Central in your 8 years there. What was it like to kind of start your career and like, kind of come into your prime playing for a team that wasn't making a lot of noise? I mean, it must have been nice to be one of the better players in the team, but like, do you think it kind of like took a toll on you a little bit? Because I know like all of us, especially if you're a professional athlete, are going to be super competitive. Like, is it kind of hard trying to develop yourself while you're still not winning that many games?
Yeah, it's tough because when you go to the field, you're always almost outmanned by every other team that we were playing against. But I just took it as a mental. This is I got to win today. I can't worry about tomorrow. I got to worry about how I perform and how professional I am, how I handle myself, win or loss. And I think that showed the character of myself. And it was funny on draft day. I remember getting drafted, and I wanted to go to the Yankees. Growing up from New Jersey, New York area, I was like Yankees, Yankees, Yankees. Then Kansas City picks me, and I'm like, dang, I was so mad, but I was so thankful because I would have been sitting in the minor leagues my whole career. Who knows how long? Right. So being in Kansas City is a blessing. I got to the big leagues in a year and 3/4. So just in the minor
unheard
league.
of. Yeah, that's unheard of.
But it was because of the team wasn't winning. So, it's a gift and a curse. Mm-hmm. I think that's the answer to the question.
Yeah,
I mean, you drafted out of high school too and declined it, right? That's what you're with.
Yes. Yeah.
Was that just, we're going to ask that later, but that kind of sparked that. I mean, was that tough to turn down and go to college when you had the offer on the table?
Not really, because I was 17.
Okay.
And I got drafted in the 43rd round by the Mets, and they're like, yo, here's a pen. Come sign with us. And I'm like, not really. Like I wasn't ready physically and mentally to go to pro ball.
Right.
And then they didn't offer me any money. That was just a topper. All right, I'm going to go to Rutgers. And we were looking at having it. The guys that we had at Rutgers and the guys coming in, we were going to have good classes for the next few years. And we did. And I grew into a better player. So then I got drafted in the 4th round. So definitely was worth it.
It sounds like what Billy Bean wishes he did, but you didn't.
Exactly. Oh, that guy. That was fun. It's another story just popped into my head. I was 2011. I played with Oakland, and that movie Moneyball came out.
Yeah.
So we went to the showing of it, and the Billy Bean. I'm like, Billy Bean. So we went to it. Afterwards, I saw him. I'm like, how the heck did you get Brad Pitt to play you? Like that? That's the ultimate. You get that guy playing you. That's unbelievable stuff.
Yeah. Huge life goal right there.
Exactly.
So I grew up in the East Bay, actually. Like if you know Orinda, just east of the Caldecott Tunnel. Yeah. Sure. So that's where I grew up, and I mean, I was raised a Giants fan. I had no choice, really. But I feel like playing in Oakland, when you can get the fans there and super invested, that place is wild. Like I feel like it's not a great stadium, honestly, but I think the fan base there is unreal. Would you say so?
100%, because those people behind you in those seats, there's not a lot of them, but they make noise. They're behind you. They're waving their flags out there, and they're doing everything to rag on the other team's outfielders. So they're pro Oakland A's. It's a dump there, man. It was tough. So it's like the late in the game, 7th inning, and our half in the inning ends. Someone went to the bathroom. One of our outfielders. We start running out there. We're like, dude, where is he? He's locked in the bathroom, bro. So someone had to take a bat and break the handle off and pull the door open. I was like, only in Oakland this will happen.
Bro. I was just saying, if that doesn't explain the Coliseum, I don't know what will. Like,
exactly. Awesome. It's either that story or when the football season starts up, they spray paint all the grass green because it's all beaten up. And you're trying to catch ground balls with football player divots.
That's got to be such a nightmare. That's an injury waiting to happen.
Exactly.
Speaking of stadiums, what about the Trop? What about Tampa? I mean, you were there for a little bit. People seem to hate it, but that's one of the stadiums I've been to, and I kind of liked how funky it was.
Dude, It was crazy because when I'm playing in Kansas City, the two teams I thought I never wanted to play with was Oakland and Tampa.
Okay.
Just because how no one goes to those ball games.
Right.
So next thing you know, I'm on Oakland, on Tampa. But dude, the atmosphere there, I think it's just the guys in the clubhouse that made that special. Joe Madden, first off, he was a special manager.
Yeah.
He just lets players play and be the best selves out on the field. And then it was one of those things that it's a home field advantage when we know that no one's coming to this ballpark. We can feed off our own energy, and the other team is always just a little down, and you just can't pick it up.
You're naturally a step ahead because they just, in the back of their heads, don't want to be there.
Exactly. And there was always something with Tampa. They had that edge, man. They just play good baseball. They play good ball there.
They still do.
Exactly.
They still do. They have that chip on their shoulder all the time.
It's unbelievable. It's so fun to watch the team of – it's almost like outcasts, guys that are been injured. They just feed off those bottom guys, and those bottom guys or some top guys just have really good seasons there.
Yeah, speaking of having an edge there, it's got to be so tough for a visiting team to not lose a ball in that dome, like the white ceiling, the lights. Like, you probably have such an advantage when you're used to that opposed to the visiting fielders.
100%. I remember I was on Tampa and I lost one. Alex Cobb was throwing a gem, like maybe a one-hitter. Man on second base, pops one up to someone, I think it was a big lefty, popped one up to I'm playing left field at the time. And I'm running, I'm sprinting to it, look up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, where the heck is this ball? And I just cover my face, and it falls in front of me. I felt so bad. It run scored, and he ended up getting the win, so it was okay. But I just felt so bad, and you look up and you don't see anything.
Right.
And you're like, uh-oh, this ball has to be coming down soon, and you just got to wait till it bounces and throw it in and just feel bad for yourself.
If you lose it, you're done. I mean, we mentioned the Rays this season. Speaking of the MLB this season, I don't know how much you're still watching baseball, but I'm curious, how do you feel about all the weird COVID-induced rules? Like, do you think they should keep the DH in the NL? What about the extra inning stuff?
Yeah, I like them both right now. I think it's brought excitement to the game, especially. I like that extra inning thing, man on second base. It puts runs on the board, and I think fans love runs.
Yeah.
And I grew up. I'm definitely an AL guy to heart, so I love that DH gives another guy a job. I don't want to see the pitchers hitting. It's I don't know. The purists are like, yes, we want to see the pitcher. It's strategy, but I just don't want to see those swings sometimes.
Yeah, there's like
the purists. We really are.
Yeah.
There's like three pitchers that I can think of growing up that I wanted to watch hit, and it's like Madison Bumgarner, Carlos Zambrano, and D-Train. And that's exactly it. Everyone else is up to the plate. There's no point. Like, it's an out every time.
No, and they're going to hurt themselves.
Exactly.
Just don't hurt yourself. Just worry about pitching and throwing strikes. That's it.
Yeah, and like some of these guys don't even hit in college. Like, they haven't hit in years. You sign an MLB deal and you have to step up to the plate. Like, that just doesn't make sense.
Exactly. That's oblique getting torn real quickly.
Right. 100%.
Yeah, man. So
we were kind of talking about, like, you kind of were at the Cubs for a short sec, and then you're after the A's and the Rays, and you're on the Nationals for like what seemed like a blink of an eye. Like, so you kind of like found
4 days.
4 days. Yeah, I was gonna say it was very, very quick. But when I was researching you, actually, there was like an article that was like, remember David Dejesus is on the Nationals for a little bit.
Yeah, man.
But
that was a crazy story.
Oh, let's hear it.
Do you want to hear it?
Absolutely. That's what you're here for.
Let's do it. So we just Sunday day game, and it was family day after the game. So my son, everyone out there, it was a great day. Monday morning, I wake up and breakfast was good. We just got a green juice. I was heading to the ballpark, and I get a phone call, and it's Theo. And I'm like, why is Theo calling me? This is weird. So I'm, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? And I heard the whole spiel already from Dayton Moore from Kansas City is, yes, we love you as a player. Yes,
Oh, and
you
you're
brought
like,
the
here we go.
energy. We loved having you, but there's always that but.
Yeah.
But we just traded you to the Nationals, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Okay, so then I looked at the schedule. Who are we playing next? Oh, the Nationals are coming to Wrigley. It was unbelievable.
Man.
So I take my car, pull up to the parking lot, get one of those big brown boxes, put all my stuff in the brown box, and literally go from the dugout, walk across the fields, and now I'm a National.
Oh my God.
Oh my! It was one of those.
It was one of those. It was like story stuff, and
Was
dude,
it
like
awkward?
super awkward.
Yeah.
Now I'm like with these guys, but I still want the Cubs to win.
Yeah.
You know, I'm watching the game. I didn't play that much. I had like 2 or 3 at bats with the Nationals. But I'm like, in my heart, I was like, man, I want the Cubs to win these games. You know, like,
Yeah, fair.
but so
now you can say that.
Exactly. Now I'm far enough away from the game that I can say that. But so on Tuesday, so that was Monday. I played 4 games: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. On Tuesday, I was like, I'm behind Bryce Harper, Jason Worth, Jannard Span. I'm like, where am I gonna play in this? So my agent called me up. He was like, dude, don't worry. We're going to get you traded. Don't worry. We're not going to be here that long. So Thursday morning rolls around. Hey, we got a team lined up. I'll let you know later on. Thursday night, I knew that I was getting traded to Tampa. Friday morning, I wake up. Friedman from the Dodgers. He's a Dodgers guy now. He was Tampa's GM. Sent me a plane. I was on a plane by myself to St. Pete. And then I was playing against the Yankees as a Tampa Bay Ray that Friday.
Oh my God.
Facing Tanaka. It was crazy.
Oh,
That
wow.
sounds like the chaos of 9 trade deadlines all in one.
Exactly.
That's absurd.
And I'm so thankful because that was the first and only time I made the playoffs.
There
2013.
you go.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what was it like then finally? Because, I mean, it took you what? Because you came in, was it 03?
03.
So 10 years to make the playoffs.
For
like,
sure.
how amazing was that for you finally to, like, feel the atmosphere of a playoff game and everything?
Dude, it was great. Me and Jared Wright, he was a right-handed pitcher. We were the 2 longest active players in MLB at that time to not make the playoffs. And we were both on the Rays team. So it was so cool that we got to do that together to get our names off the book. But it was a crazy time because it came down to the end of the season. The last game in Toronto, we're playing the Blue Jays. We win the ball game. The Texas Rangers win their ball game. We have to go to game 163. So we have to fly to Texas and play game 163. David Price throws a gem against the Texas Rangers. The greatest thing about that was, dude, he shut him out, and we're screaming on the field, and like the whole crowd is just quiet, man, just watching us act dumb out there on the field.
That's excellent.
Dude, it was sick. And then, by the way, champagne burns the eyes. It was unbelievably great, but hurts so bad. If you don't have goggles on.
Why didn't you wear goggles?
I was new to this. I was like, let me feel this thing.
Come on, man. Everyone's wearing those goggles. You got to see
100% at that point, though. Just open your eyes wide open for the champagne.
Yeah. Give me. Someone pour it on me. All right. So then, we win that ball game. We fly to Cleveland to play the wild card game. So then, dude, it was the greatest thing. Before the game, you know, it's on TBS, and they have like, hey, before the game starts, on the screen it says, hey, everyone in the crowd, wave your towels. So all those white towels, you know, moving around at one time. It was just a sick atmosphere before the game started. It was so cool. So
it's
cool.
Electric.
Have you ever felt any adrenaline rush like that before in your life?
No.
I mean,
not like that. That was like, you know, the game 163 was special, but this was on another level because, hey, this is part of the playoffs. You're in, you're out. This is a one game. Every pitch matters. Don't be the guy that messes up.
Mm-hmm.
So that was awesome. And then Alice Cobb threw a gem, and we get to celebrate again. You know, and I was like, I can't do this again.
Did you
So,
grab the goggles this time?
Yes, I grabbed the goggles, and it wasn't as long. The first one was like a 15, 20-minute celebration. This was like a 10-minute, okay, we're going to – now we have to fly to Boston to play the Red Sox.
Okay.
And, you know, that was a tough one. Like, we had the first game. We were beating him, like, in the 7th, and Will Myers misplayed a ball, and that was when the switch turned, and, you know, they just steamrolled us. Ellsbury, Victorino, Big Poppy, those guys just – we couldn't get those guys out and off the bases all series long.
You mentioned how just like one misplayed ball kind of changed the momentum. Did you notice like your time in playoff games? Did the momentum actually change much more just with one little play compared to a regular season game? Like, did every player feel on edge like that?
Dude, it was the most stressful. Like, when you're done with the ball game in the playoffs, you're like, you just like ran a marathon. You're like that stressed. It was just because every pitch matters. Like, everything just is so heightened to another level. That's why it's like so special to see those guys like the Big Poppies, the Derek Jeters, that were able to just take their game to another level. It just made it just so much special to know what they were doing.
Right.
Compared to like the whole
so
scenario.
So much harder than the regular season.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What's kind of like –
oh, you got it, Jack.
Sorry. Yeah, I was just curious, like, what's kind of like the feel in the clubhouse compared? So, you know, like everyone has like kind of their pregame routine and everything in the clubhouse and whatnot. Is it completely different in the playoffs, or do people kind of try and keep it the same? Like, what's kind of just the feel going around?
Yeah, it's more the same. And, you know, when I was with Dale Swaim, the one thing that I always kept was, hey, your first spring training game, there should be no difference in preparation than Game 7 of the World Series. You should be able to lock in on what you're trying to do, have your routine so that there's no pressure. There's no more pressure that you're adding on yourself before the game. It's just go out there and play baseball and know that you've done everything you can do to be prepared to play the game. So that's something that stuck in my mind. But I was always that guy that I just wanted to be able to go out, prepare myself, give my best effort, and then that's all I can do. No one can tell me that I could have been in the league longer. No one can say that. I played 13 years, and I'm thankful for 13 years, but I gave everything I had for 13 years. So I'm so thankful for that.
It's a lot easier said than done, I'm sure, too.
Yeah. Yes. Because, you know, there's so much other stuff going on. You could be, you know, signings and, you know, looking for all endorsements, all these little things that you could be doing. But it's knowing that, hey, man, I'm a ball player and this is my job. And I took it as a job. My job is to go out there, perform for the fans and perform for my team and win a ball game.
David, it sounds like consistent preparation over your career was really key for you. Just speaking of preparation, I know there's a lot of weird, superstitious guys out there who do some interesting things, whether during or before a game. What were some of the weirder, like, superstitious things you saw in the clubhouse from guys?
So I was always right foot sock on first.
Okay.
And then a left foot.
I'm a right sock guy, too. I'm a right sock guy.
Yes. So I took that up until, like, 2012, and I'm like, is this really going to get me to have a good game? So then I just kind of deleted all my things. I would try, hey, if I ate something good that day, I would try and go out of my way not to do the same thing and just to see if it was, you know, what happened.
But hard to do, though.
What was that?
That's probably hard to do because if you consciously stopped it and then you got in a slump, you'd probably be freaking out.
Exactly. And I wanted to break that mold that I had in my head.
Right.
So it was tough, but I saw like guys would be like, hey, I went out last night and went drinking. I got to do it again. And they beasted out for a week. I'm like, there you go. How are you feeling right now? How are you doing this?
You're like, dude, this isn't a superstition at this point. It's like a problem. You gotta chill.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I don't know how long you're gonna last in the league for if you keep this up.
And they're definitely gonna gain a little weight, not be as quick in the field. That's for sure.
100%. 100%.
I learned that in college.
You got that? Where'd you go again?
Mizzou, University of Missouri.
Oh, nice. That's
cool. Yeah, I don't know if you've ever been to Columbia. It's probably not much. I would imagine an MLB baseball player never went there, but it's a good college
Yeah,
town.
I haven't. I've been to KU. That's the only thing.
Oh, dude,
I went to
we're gonna have
KU.
to end this again. That's our rival. Like, it's been great. You got to get out. You got to get out. Our producer Andrew, he went to Mizzou too, so you're done. You're
Nice.
done.
I'm gone. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
cool. That's respect. That's respect. You got to have that love for your school, man. I like that. I like that about you.
Hey, David, if you need a vacation, come out to Colorado. I know you're on the west. I'm in Fort Collins. So
Oh, nice.
Mountains are beautiful here, man.
Yeah, man. That's a great state, though. It's
Yeah.
just, I remember playing the Rockies there in that downtown area. I was like, man,
Yeah, Denver's
this is clean, bro. This is clean.
Yeah.
Good living. The air was nice. Just felt like you're breathing a different type of air than anywhere else.
And I'm sure you hit the crap out of the ball there. Everyone does.
Yeah. Dude, Coors Field, that's a big ballpark, man.
Yeah.
You got to
They
play
make
so
up for the
deep.
altitude.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's a big – things carry, but you got to play so deep as an outfielder that, like, basic singles turn into doubles. And, you know, that's why some of those guys put up some ungodly stats there.
Mm-hmm.
That
Well,
kind
speaking
of
of, like-
or you got it, Jack.
Oh yeah, no. So we were kind of talking about we were gonna ask you at some point, like, kind of like ballparks in general, because you played in the AL for a while and the NL for a
Sure.
while as well. Like, you played at every MLB stadium, I'd imagine, at this point.
For sure.
Aside from the ones that you've played in yourself, what's your favorite? Because I'm sure every kid grows up like you, trying to play at Yankee Stadium and everything, and Fenway's amazing, and you got all these places. Not that I'm biased, but AT&T Park in San Francisco is great. Like, what's like the most surreal experience? Like, you're stepping in that locker room onto the field. Like, what's your favorite stadium you played on that you haven't been a part of as like a team member?
So I would say that was the first time walking into the old Yankee Stadium clubhouse.
Yeah.
It was just one of those, like, understanding that so many stud ball players have been in this clubhouse.
In the pinstripes.
Oh, it's unbelievable. And then they have this long corridor that takes you from the clubhouse to the dugout. And that's one of those things, like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I'm doing this. So I walk up, I see the steps, I get on the first step, and you can just see, like, the stands in the outfield. And I'm like, this is like the most surreal thing, because the first game that I went to as a kid was KC versus the Yankees. And I'm up in, like, the nosebleeds. No, we ain't got money like that. So I step out there and I'm like, wait, I'm looking back at me, look at the Kansas City players as, like, and now I am one of those Kansas City players, like, on the
Just
field.
a weird,
like,
surreal moment.
about to play the ball game. I'm like, what is going on? This is crazy. And then I'm playing against Jeter. I'm playing against, Cano, Giambi. Like, these are studs out there.
Yeah.
It was
So it sounds like Yankee Stadium's clubhouse was unreal. Just going back to your story of when you had to go from the Cubs dugout to Washington's dugout, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Was the visiting clubhouse as bad as people say? Because I remember before they renovated Wrigley, apparently the visiting clubhouse was just tiny compared to the home clubhouse.
I've never been over there until that moment.
Okay.
And I was like, what the heck is this place? It's like literally you're changing while, like, touching elbows with the guy next to you. It was
Oh my God.
It was Ozzie Guillen. I saw a little show recently that he was doing. He was talking about how Wrigley, the visiting, clubhouse was just the worst, and he couldn't have said it any better. It was just the tiniest little cramped little place. I can't believe guys played in it back in the day.
It's kind of smart of them doing that, though. Just make guys uncomfortable before they're even on the dugout.
Exactly.
It's a part of that home field advantage.
There's nowhere to hit or anything before the game, so you're just coming in cold off the bench. It was unbelievable.
So all you've got really is that pregame BP that you took 4 hours, 5 hours earlier.
100%. And when you're not playing that day, you're getting the trash BP thrower. Mm-hmm. You're not getting the best. No one really cares. And then I remember on the Cubs side, for a lot of the time they didn't have anything either. So a way to combat that was in the clubhouse. They have a few TVs there that are on the wall, they would drop a screen down in the middle of the locker room, move the tables away. So I'm taking like flips right in the middle of the clubhouse, like right in front of some locker. It was the weirdest thing.
What
but like
the hell?
it is crazy.
Why? So you're telling me that the Cubs in the 2000s would make you 2010s no less would make you guys do that?
Exactly. We're 2012. I'm getting ready to hit Aroldis Chapman, taking flips in front of like Barney's locker, Darwin Barney's locker.
I remember
Barney. He won a Gold Glove, man.
Yeah.
He's easily forgotten.
He was stud.
Hey,
I love that dude.
I gotta plug this real quick. Did you ever play with Brett Jackson?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
That's one of my best friend back home's older brother.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
Quality guy.
Great guy.
He just was, it's just one of those things. He was so hyped.
Very.
And, they gave him the opportunity. And some guys are, that in between AAA and big league level.
4A players.
Yeah, and it's nothing wrong. He's a quality player. It's just the
great
big
fielder.
league sometimes is just a step up. And love the dude. He worked hard. There's nothing as a teammate that I would say that was wrong. It's just one of those things that the game is sometimes sped up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
like
he was a
dudes, and just you mentioned Rizzo earlier as like a great clubhouse guy, a quality guy.
Exactly.
In all your years in baseball, who were some of the best clubhouse guys you were around, and maybe you even learned from when you were kind of a rookie and coming up in the game?
So Mike Sweeney from the Kansas City Royals was, the veteran, the captain of the Royals. He taught how to just love on people, because he knew that baseball was a hard game. And if we're not picking each other up, man, this is a lonely game too. You can dig yourself into some demons because it's such a mental ball game. I remember Reed Johnson with the Cubs.
He was the best.
Just played the game the right way all the time, prepared himself. And when I was with the Cubs, I hung out with him a lot because, yes, we were the older guys, but I just wanted to keep learning about how to be a great teammate from him. So those two, they're the two guys that stick out in my mind that I wanted to emulate my game after, on and off.
Was that kind of as soon as so later in your career when you were bouncing around to teams, you kind of assumed that role? Or those are the guys you kind of learned from, I would imagine, right?
Exactly. So then I was having the young guys come up to me. I would be taking the young guys out to lunch or, after the game, just chatting and trying to keep their spirits up on the plane rides. Plane rides were a great way to just talk to guys, understand where they're at, where their mental is at. And I had a couple of great teammates, Chris Archer and Brandon Geyer and Steven Souza with the Tampa Bay Rays, dude.
Still doing it, yeah.
Yeah, man. We would just talk and chat and just kind of get into each other's lives, because a lot of the time when you're playing, you're not really knowing who this guy is. You're just he's your teammate. You deal with him for a few hours and you go and do your thing. So we really got to know each other and build friendships that we still have today.
Is that kind of the beauty just off the field, like you said, when you actually do get to know these guys? It's kind of like your brother's going through this for 7 months. It's not like an NFL season, like 162 games, man. You got to be brothers.
Exactly, because it's such a grind. There's weeks where you're just hot as anything. Dude, you can see the ball. It looks like a beach ball. But then there's times where it's like a freaking pin coming at you, and you're trying to hit it, and you just need to be picked up and just be told, hey, man, you belong here. Like, there's a reason why you're here. And I think I took liberty, and I loved being that just reassuring guy to some of the young guys when I got older.
It's awesome you mentioned Dave Johnson, because he was a fan favorite in Chicago too. So I feel like fans kind of see how these guys do this without people even saying it. No, you can tell those guys that hold the team together. And Reed Johnson and you guys were both like that. So
exactly, and I loved it because I was like, I'm Dejesus, so I'm Puerto Rican, so I was like with the the non-Latinos and the Latinos, so I could hang with both of them. So. And then my job was just to bring energy, I was a guy that was going to smile no matter what. I love to have fun on the baseball field. And and I think the guys around me fed off that.
Right.
Mm. We got one last kind of like little
Yeah, for
question
sure.
for you. I know it's been a while. We've been having a blast. Thank you
No
again so
doubt.
much for coming
You're our
on.
first guest. We
But-
got excited, David.
Yes.
Hey, it's been great.
All
But
good.
I was curious with how long you played. I mean, you played against so many great pitchers, hitters. Who's the best pitcher you've ever faced, and the best pitcher you faced or played with, and best hitter you've faced or played with?
Okay, cool. So pitchers, I have two. Johan Santana for the Minnesota
nasty.
Twins.
So nasty.
Sheesh, no. I mean, that guy was one of those lefty on lefty. It's just that, and then that changeup. He had that same arm speed that you just didn't know was either fastball or changeup, and then he was throwing 95. So he was one of the toughest, and I faced him all the time. That was the thing. I faced him all the time. So that wasn't fun, but also one that sticks out in my mind is Mariano Rivera.
Oh.
I mean, like legendary status guy. And I was 0 for 4 with 3 broken bats and a homer. So those 3 broken bats, I would take the first pitch, trying to work the count. And man, you could not see that cutter. That cutter would come in looking like it's down the middle of the plate and just break your bat. It was that special.
Is it really, like, people say it is one of the nastiest, if not the nastiest pitch that any pitcher's ever had? Do you like agree that it's unhittable?
100%. 100%. Just because you knew it was coming. You only had one pitch, and it was just breaking my bat. So the time I hit a homer, the story was, all right, top of the 9th, it's 1-1, and I was like, all right, dude, he's broken 3 of my bats. I'm swinging first pitch. Step in the bucket. Boom. Old Yankee Stadium. Family there. I'm like, got him. We're going to win the ball game. I'm going to get interviewed after this. Yes, this is sick. And then Johnny Damon proceeded to go like 6 for 6, base hit, 2 RBI, win the ball game. I was like, no, it can't happen.
You're like, I grew up a Yankees fan. This is my one time to shine here. Like, what the hell?
It was unbelievable. But, yeah, so that was the pitcher-wise. Hitter-wise, like there's too many. Beltre, I remember, dude, that guy was so hard to get out. Jeter was a stud. I remember, like, facing Josh Hamilton. And
in his prime?
One game, dude, Josh Hamilton was just flicking balls out of the park. It was unbelievable to watch his batting practice.
Oh.
I was like, dude, what is this guy doing? How do you hit the ball this far?
He wasn't even human.
It was unbelievable to watch this dude. The talent that he had, too bad that, the mental side wasn't there. But that guy could have been special. But, man, the skills that he had, that was crazy to watch.
It's really a travesty that he didn't win that home run derby in New York. Like, that was by far the best home run derby performance I've ever. I was watching that. I was like,
50?
Yeah. There was like, how in the world is this guy doing this? He's just like sitting there. He's like, yeah, easy. Like, let's just hit it 470 real quick.
Yo, like, how are you hitting balls almost out of Yankee Stadium, like onto the train tracks out there?
I know. Wild.
Yeah, David, obviously you weren't a guy that was trying to hit home runs forever, but you got to be aware that you finished your career with 99 homers. Did that ever bug you?
I know that, and it's funny, like, I'm a coach for my son now, and they're all like, dude, you should just hit one more. I was like, oh, if it's that easy, I would have, My job was to get on base and score runs, man.
Right.
When you retired, did you know you had 99? You're like, shit, like,
I knew
one more, man.
I knew it, and there was one. But it's funny looking back on the Cubs. I had an inside the Parker that I was like, yeah, I'm not feeling that good. I stopped at third, and that could have been that could have been that one. But you never know, and that's just the way it is, bro. That's the way it is.
You never know, but what we do know is this was an excellent interview, David. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your night. Sorry to drag it on too much, but yeah, again, it's been an honor.
No, this has been fun. Thank you, guys. If you ever need me on again, you know my number, and let's do it again.
David, we'll be in touch, and if you ever go back to the MLB for that one homer, we're rooting for you.
All right, brother. All right, I know you have on my side.
Yep.
Thank you so much
guys.
again, man. It's been great.
Thanks for everything. It was awesome.
Yep. Appreciate it so much. That was awesome.